Have you ever seen a cute little fish like a pufferfish? It's small, funny, and puffs up in a silly way when it gets scared. But beneath that cute exterior lies one of the deadliest fish on the planet. Its toxin, tetrodotoxin, is so powerful that it can kill an adult in just a few minutes. Just imagine, just one drop is enough to paralyze dozens of people. It blocks nerve impulses, and a person remains conscious but loses the ability to move, to speak, and then to breathe. A slow, agonizing death. What's even scarier is that there's no antidote. If the toxin gets into the body, all you can do is wait. Some survive if they receive emergency care, but many simply die, without even realizing what happened. The scariest part is that in many countries, people eat this fish. In Japan, they make a delicacy from it called fugu. Only specially trained chefs can prepare it, and they spend years learning how to properly remove the toxic organs. But even masters make mistakes sometimes. There have been cases where people died right at the table because the chef left a microscopic dose of toxin in the meat. But you know what's even scarier? Some pufferfish aren't as harmless as they seem. Their toxin can be transmitted through their skin. Just touching the fish can give you a lethal dose. Now imagine that there are creatures in the ocean that can kill you in even more horrifying ways. Welcome to the next chapter. A creature that can boil your blood. In the depths of the ocean, there's a creature that uses heat as a weapon. This is a mantis shrimp. At first glance, it's just a weird little shrimp with big eyes and colorful shells. But you know what makes it so dangerous? Its fists. These aren't just claws. It's a weapon that accelerates faster. Bullets. Mantis shrimp attack with such force that the water around them literally boils. This is called cavitation, when a liquid turns into vapor due to a sudden drop in pressure. Imagine a creature the size of your palm that can create a mini explosion that heats the water to incredible temperatures. These strikes are so powerful that they can shatter aquarium glass, pierce a crab shell, and even break bones. But even scarier are its eyes. It has the most perfect vision in the animal kingdom. It sees colors that we can't even imagine and detects the slightest movements. The victim doesn't have time to react and in a split second receives a fatal blow. But if you think that small creatures are the most dangerous, just wait until you hear about the tiny killer that hunts millions of people every year. A tiny killer. Do you know which animal kills more people than sharks, snakes, and bears combined? This is an ordinary mosquito. A small, annoying creature that spoils summer evenings. But this little vampire, a true weapon of mass destruction, spreads diseases through its bites, killing millions of people every year. Malaria, fever, dengue, Zika virus. The list goes on. The scariest part is that you won't even feel it. The moment of infection. A mosquito injects an anesthetic into your skin, and while you're scratching, the disease is already entering your bloodstream. But there's one more terrifying fact. Mosquitoes are mutating. Because of climate change, they're showing up in places they've never been before and spreading new diseases. They adapt faster. Then we can create medicines, and if we don't find a way to stop them, humanity will be in serious danger. But sometimes deadly creatures look even more harmless. A frog that can kill an elephant. This tiny frog, the size of a coin, looks like a toy. Its bright skin shimmers with shades of yellow, blue, and orange. It seems as if you could pick it up and take a closer look. But don't do that. Poison dart frogs are some of the most poisonous creatures on the planet. Their skin is covered in toxins that can be absorbed through the skin and can stop an adult's heart in just a few minutes. One such frog contains enough poison to kill 20 people, or even one adult elephant. The indigenous people of South America use this poison for hunting. They lubricate the tips of the arrows, and even the smallest scratches. That's enough to paralyze their prey. But where does the frog get such a deadly toxin? The thing is, it doesn't produce it. It gets it from its food. In the wild, these frogs eat poisonous insects, and their bodies turn that poison into a real weapon. But there are even more surprising creatures that seem harmless, but hide a deadly danger. Charming death. When you look at a platypus, it's hard to imagine that it could be dangerous. Small, fluffy, with a funny beak and paws, it seems as if this creature was invented by a drunken scientist. But you know what this cute little animal is hiding? It is poisonous, and its poison does not just cause pain. It causes such agony that even strong painkillers don't help. Male platypuses have spurs on their hind legs that secrete a powerful toxin. This venom doesn't kill, but it destroys nerve endings. and the victim experiences pain that can last for weeks. There have been cases where people bitten by a platypus begged doctors to amputate their limb because they couldn't stand the pain. But there's an even more dangerous creature. We'll talk about that in the next chapter. An ant that can cause hellish pain. Have you ever wondered what it's like to feel real hell on your skin? Some say it feels like a burn from molten metal, while others compare it to an electric shock that just won't go away. Meet the bullet ant. This red and black ant looks completely harmless, but its sting is one of the most painful in the world. The pain from it lasts up to 24 hours. People who have been stung by this ant describe the feeling as if you were being hit with a hammer and set on fire at the same time. But do you know what the scariest part is? Some tribes in the Amazon use these ants in rituals. Young warriors put on gloves filled with hundreds of these insects and must endure them without showing pain. Many of them pass out. And now imagine that there's a bird out there that's so poisonous, you can't even eat it. We'll talk about her in the next chapter. Did you know that venom isn't just found in snakes, spiders, and frogs, but also in birds? There are some feathered creatures that are better left alone. One of them is a small bird called the hooded rooster. She looks cute, black and orange plumage, curious look. But its feathers and skin contain batrachotoxin, the same deadly poison found in poison dart frogs. If you pick up a rooster, you can get severe numbness or a burn. And if you eat it, you could face paralysis or even death. Scientists have discovered that this bird gets poison from its diet. It feeds on toxic beetles, and its body accumulates the toxin in its tissues. But birds aren't the only creatures that can kill in unexpected ways. A fish that can castrate a man. Have you ever gone swimming in a river, completely unaware until something brushed against your leg? Now imagine that this creature isn't just swimming nearby, but it's actually targeting you. Meet the candiru. This tiny fish lives in the Amazon and is known for its terrible habits. It enters a person's body through the most unexpected openings and starts feeding from the inside. But the most terrible thing was when candiru crawled into the urethra of men. It clings with its thorns and begins to tear the tissue from the inside. The only way to get rid of it is through surgery. Locals fear the candiru more than piranhas. And if you think this sounds scary, wait until you hear about the bird that kills like a professional assassin. A bird with a dagger. The bird is not usually associated with danger, but there's one that could work as a killer. This is the cassowary, a huge, flightless bird from Australia that can stand up to 3 feet tall. The cassowary has the most dangerous weapon among birds, its gigantic claws. One strike from its foot can puncture a belly and spill out the guts, but the scariest part is its speed. It can reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour and catch up with a person in a matter of seconds. If it attacks, there's almost no chance of escaping. This bird is considered one of the deadliest on the planet. In the past, there have been cases where people died from cassowary attacks. But if you think birds are the scariest killers, wait until you hear about the creature that can turn you into a zombie. Zombies do exist, but not like the ones in horror movies. In the insect world, there's a creature that can completely dominate its victim and turn it into a living dead. This is the emerald wasp, parasite. When it finds a cockroach, it injects venom straight into its brain. This venom blocks the victim's instincts. Now the cockroach can't run away, can't resist. It becomes a lifeless puppet. The wasp literally grabs it by the antenna and leads it like a leash to its nest. There, she lays her eggs right inside its body. A few days later, the larvae hatch and start eating the cockroach from the inside while it's still alive. This parasite is so perfect that scientists are even studying its venom to see if it can be used to control the brains of other creatures. In the next chapter, a fish that can knock you out with a 600-volt shock. Imagine you're swimming in the murky waters of the Amazon River. Suddenly, you feel a strong jolt, like you've been hit by a truck. It paralyzes the body, causing the muscles to cramp. You try to swim, but you can't even move. Meet the electric eel. This fish can generate a shock of up to 600 volts. That's enough to knock an adult off their feet. What else does it do more dangerous? It can deliver several strikes in a row. If the victim does not die from the first charge, the eel will simply continue attacking until it is completely paralyzed. There have been cases where people drowned because they couldn't move anymore after being hit by this fish. Unlike normal predators, the gora does not use poison or teeth. It simply turns its body into a living electric shock baton. Now imagine that there are insects whose bite can slowly kill you over the course of years. One of them will be discussed in the next chapter. You probably know that vampire bats drink blood. But not many people know that there's an insect that does the same thing and leaves behind a deadly gift. Meet the kissing bug. This little creature hunts at night, piercing the skin of its victim and sucking their blood. But the scariest part isn't the bite itself, it's what happens afterward. This bug is a carrier of Chagas disease, which can hide in a person's body for years and then suddenly kill them. The disease affects the heart, the nervous system, and internal organs. Many victims don't even know they're infected before it gets too late. Every year, Chagas disease kills thousands of people. And what's even worse is that kissing bugs are spreading further and further, moving from South America to North America. Now imagine that beneath the sand lies a creature that can kill you before you even realize it's there. We'll talk about it in the next chapter. You walk barefoot on the warm sand. Under your feet, everything is soft and cozy. But at some point, do you feel it? A sting. In a few minutes, the burning starts. Then comes the unbearable pain. You realize you've stepped on one of the most dangerous creatures on the planet, the sand scorpion. Its venom attacks the nervous system. The bitten person first feels a slight tingling, then their muscles start to cramp. In the most severe cases, paralysis, respiratory failure, and death can occur. But you know what's the scariest part? These scorpions are almost invisible. They blend in perfectly with their surroundings. You'll never know it's there until it's too late. The next chapter, about a creature that looks like a toy but hides a deadly venom. You see a small, fluffy creature with huge eyes in front of you. It looks like a cartoon character. It seems that you can pick him up, stroke him, feed him. But if you do that, you're putting your life at risk. This is the slow loris, the only venomous primate in the world. At first glance, it looks completely harmless. But when it senses danger, it licks its paws, mixing its saliva with toxins secreted from glands in its elbows. If it bites you, the venom can cause anaphylactic shock. In the worst case, cardiac arrest. But you know what's the creepiest part? Lori does not use poison only for defense. Sometimes females apply it to the fur of their cubs to make them inedible to predators. Now imagine that there is a creature that you can't even see before it's too late. In the next chapter, the invisible killer in the water. You're swimming in crystal clear water, enjoying the warm waves. There are no sharks, no jellyfish, no dangerous fish around, but suddenly you feel a stinging pain. Then dizziness sets in, your breathing becomes erratic, and your body is overcome with weakness. Meet the sea wasp, the most dangerous jellyfish in the world, whose transparent tentacles are almost impossible to spot, but they make it the perfect killer, Venom C. The jellyfish attacks the nervous system, causing excruciating pain, paralysis, and acute heart failure. People who get stung often die from shock before they even have a chance to make it to shore. The scariest part? The tentacles of this jellyfish can reach up to 10 feet long. And even if the jellyfish is dead, its tentacles can still be venomous for a few days. In the next chapter, a creature that you can crush with your finger, but it will kill you first. It's a tiny, soft creature. It seems so harmless that you can pick it up. But that will be your last mistake. Meet the blue-ringed octopus. It's the size of a golf ball, but its venom can kill an adult in just a few minutes. This octopus does not bite, does not attack, does not chase its prey. All it needs to do is just touch you. Its saliva contains tetrodotoxin, the same poison as the fugu fish. When it enters the body, it blocks nerve impulses. First you stop moving, then you stop talking, then your lungs stop working and you die of suffocation. Remaining fully conscious, the worst part. There is no antidote for this poison. But if you think the worst is over, you are wrong. Fluffy but deadly, you are walking through a tropical forest and you see something fluffy. It looks like a small ball of fur. It seems like a baby animal or just a cute caterpillar. But if you touch it, you can die. This is the South American puss caterpillar. Its body is covered with long, soft hairs, which actually hide deadly poisonous needles. When a person touches it, the poison penetrates the skin and causes terrible symptoms. Unbearable pain, convulsions, internal bleeding. In severe cases, anaphylactic shock and cardiac arrest are possible. But the worst thing is that the victim does not understand what is happening until it is too late. She thinks she just touched something harmless. But a few minutes later, her body starts to go into agony. These caterpillars have killed hundreds of people. And the worst part is, they can fall from trees right onto a person, leaving them with only a few minutes to survive. So if you see something small and cute, it's best not to touch it. Because the most dangerous creatures are the ones that seem harmless.